Mr. Cardoso, how's married life?
Still Langford.
I thought that'd be a good touch.
I think Jesse kind of wants that. She just brightened up whenever she heard that just now. But yeah, married life's great. Just stuck at home with COVID a week after. Happy 1 week anniversary, hon.
Oh, that's good. I mean, what was it, like third time around with COVID?
Third time. Yeah.
Hey, third time's the charm.
Yeah, and at least I have my voice because the previous times, like, it's just my voice has been gone, dead. Each of those other times.
Yeah,
But
you look
this
fine.
right. Yeah.
I don't know if I believe in this COVID thing anymore.
You don't believe in it?
Nah, it was all sham for all that time.
I mean, really, it's not even like if it wasn't contagious, I'd be out doing stuff. But it's like it's the contagious part. Like,
it's basically I totally get that. It's basically the cold now, though.
Yeah, that's what it feels like. Maybe a little stronger, but yeah, there's times when I just even forget that COVID exists. Then you see someone test positive, like somebody that tests positive. You're like, oh, it's still around. Okay.
Yeah, it's still a thing.
Mm-hmm.
Well, I'm assuming from the wedding, or you went to the A's game too. Yeah. Maybe you just got it from, I don't know, just living life.
I think it was Jesse started feeling under the weather first, and I mean, I don't know if it was like in Yosemite. That was probably the likeliest place because after
you went to Yosemite.
Yeah, because you can't think it's the wedding because no one else from the wedding really seems to have it, and there is actually one person who does, but she's pretty convinced that she got it from her sister when she went back home after the wedding because she got it like on Wednesday or something. So yeah, man, I don't think it's from the wedding. I don't really know where it's from, and really. Now that this is the third time around, I've kind of realized there's no point in trying to guess where it came from because you're just gonna just mentally that doesn't help you with anything,
Nah, it just and you'll be fine. I mean, you sound good. You'll probably be good by this early week.
Yeah.
What's going on, everybody? Just your pregame show, man. Steven is back as a married man now, and we'll get all to that.
Should wear my ring probably, huh? Like the ring thing.
No, it's an audio medium, Steven. I mean, though we're on a stream, it doesn't make sense. But yeah, we'll get to the wedding, and we'll get to man, between that and the A's game, I did a lot of crying this week. Good Lord, Jesus. We'll get all to that, and we'll get to football. A lot to talk about with the Raiders and 49ers. It sounds like nobody's playing for the Raiders tomorrow. We'll get to that. But before we get to all that, it was a week ago. It was a beautiful, beautiful ceremony. Steven, tell us about the wedding.
Man, I mean, it went just about as well as it could possibly go.
Yeah.
At least on my end. That's what it felt like on my end. There was a couple of hiccups here and there, but really it was just a perfect day. It did start out great because we get changed, we go to the hotel or whatever, and we get changed, and we head to the venue, and so we're there probably around noon. And hang
on. You guys stayed at a hotel? You guys didn't stay at your own place?
No, we stayed at our own place, but we met at the hotel.
Gotcha. Okay.
Just so we're all in one spot, so we could all leave at the exact we could leave at the exact same time.
Okay.
But we get to the golf course, and the golf course has a tap room. Shout out to Boundary Oak. But there's a group of, I'd say, middle-aged men that were all just sitting around having a post-round beer, minding their own business. But as soon as I walk in, like, there's a handful of them that say the same variation of, "Oh, getting married, huh? Beginning of the end." Like,
don't you love that when old men tell you that?
Like, dude, what are you doing? Like, my cousin actually got kind of a little pissed because he's here on one of the most special days of his life, and you're just gonna tell him this is the beginning of the end. There was one guy who could kind of tell, one guy in that group who could tell we were pissed about that, and then he just tried to ease the tension by saying that there was you trying to ease the tension by saying, "Oh yeah, I got married here 30 years ago. You're gonna have a blast."
Oh wow.
So so they knew what they were doing, but man, it was I really can't give you any complaints about the night. I mean, obviously it was a special ceremony, all the family and friends and the dinner, everything. It was just awesome. And the dance floor seemed to remain pretty consistent throughout the night.
Oh yeah. I was cutting a rug and
Yeah.
not had a good time. But the funny thing was like Elena and Jacob, who were on the dance floor with me, were like, "Damn, you really know the bye 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 dance pretty well." I'm like, "It's easy. It's one of the easiest the dances to do. It's easier than the Macarena. Why am I like, oh, Derek's really good at that? You just put your hand out. It's easy."
It's not easier than the Macarena, dude.
It's very easy. It's easier than the Macarena.
Did you really got the bye 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 dance, huh?
I just watched the music video, I guess, way too many times. And Deadpool just came out, so everybody knows how to do it now.
Yeah. So, yeah, during the ceremony, in the middle of the time of you screaming, "Hell yeah!" when they mentioned just your opinion, man. Did you see Jesse slip Nick like the couple of bucks
to mention that?
Yeah, because he basically did like a promotion for my job. He's like, you could tune in at 1069 AM 740 KCBS, or you could go to Just Your Opinion, man. And that's when you screamed, "Hell yeah!" and lifted up your drink, which made me laugh.
It was a very, very touching moment. And Nick, the master of ceremonies, did a fantastic job marrying
Jesse
you guys.
slipped him a couple of bucks just because he was doing promotion.
I didn't see that because I was in the back with Elena, Jacob, and our buddy Brian Ratto. By the way, did you hear about the adventure excursion that Jacob had to go through to get to the wedding?
I didn't hear about any of the excursion. I knew he just came from LA.
He came from an LA wedding the night before, flew in that morning, did not have a place to go. He went straight from SFO to, I guess, Walnut Creek BART, hopped on a lift, got showered at a 24-hour fitness, changed in his suit, and then hopped over. I was like, Jesus, dude, you're a fucking warrior. Good Lord.
Oh, man.
But yeah, dude, no, the ceremony was beautiful.
Well, hang on real quick on
yeah.
Jacob. If there's one guy that my family like was asking about after the wedding, it was Jacob.
Oh, yeah?
Because he has the long hair, very affable. And there's one of my cousins who was up on there with me, one of my groomsmen. One of his best friends' name is Tom, and he has this long hair and the same kind of way, just all very open, not shy and all that. And they called him American Tom. They don't know his nick. They don't know him as Jacob. They just think he's American Tom.
Okay.
I mean, the long black hair. Like the guy who immediately said, "I love the Langfords" when he walked in. Yeah, that guy. Yeah.
I don't know about black hair these days, but yeah.
Yeah, well, salt and pepper.
Yeah. Hey,
salt and pepper.
A little touch of gray never hurt anybody. And I can't talk. But yeah, dude. It was a blast. Elena was texting us before we got over there that she was having a White Russian. So I was like, oh, that sounds good. So I went when I got to the bar, I met up with Ratto, I met up with Elena, and I told the barkeep, "Can I get a White Russian?" And they were like, "What's that?" And I was like, "Oh boy." It's vodka, it's Kahlua, and a little bit of half and half, just to keep the Big Lebowski tradition of the show. And they gave it to me in like a Starbucks cup, and I was like, "Oh God, you're giving me a lot." And so I had to down it before we went out there. Like as soon as I got the drink, a woman came by and said, "We're starting the ceremony pretty quickly." I was like, "Oh Jesus!" So I downed it. Then as I'm walking out, Jacob has 2 beers, and he's like, "I got a beer for you, bro." And I was like, "Oh, okay, fine." So after I just downed the White Russian, got the beer in hand, then I see you, and I can tell you're nervous. So I walk up to you, and I did not know the ceremony was going to be outside. And I applied a little bit of sunscreen, but just to fuck with you, I went over and I was like, "What are you doing to me? You're not going to tell me that this wedding's outside? But my bald head's going to fry." And then you're like, "I don't care about your fucking bald head right now, man. I'm getting married." And I was like, "All right, you'll be fine. You'll be fine."
Yeah.
So then I walked. So
I was very. You had to walk on eggshells around me.
I know. You were nervous. So then I sat down, and yeah, dude, your guys' vows and everything were beautiful. You and Jesse.
Yeah.
And I was touched by Nick dropping the podcast. Didn't need to do that, but he did. Gave it just your opinion, man, while you guys were getting married. Beautiful. And yeah, you guys got me. You and Jesse talking about your goddamn love. It was sick. But no, you got me. And, you know, it was beautiful. And what really got me was Nick mentioning your dad. That got me.
Yeah.
But yeah, just a beautiful ceremony. Your brother spoke beautifully about you. Your mom did. It was amazing. And yeah, shout out to your friends too. Is it Tyler, your buddy that you known since middle school?
Yeah. No, since
Probably-
elementary. Yeah.
Elementary. Yeah, Tyler was awesome. He was chopping up with Raiders with me the whole time. Ravi, I believe his name is too. Ravi.
Oh, yeah.
So yeah, those are good people. Yeah, dude, I've been to a lot of weddings. It was awesome to have like the old 95.7 crew come through. You had Sam Loveman and Lucas and Evan, our guy Evan, Bonte, Shasky. It was beautiful. My man Curly. We all came through. Beautiful time. A Scott was on the dance floor. Cody. Yeah, it was just. I've been to a lot of weddings, and that might have made me the most happy out of all of them, to be completely honest.
Wow. Well, appreciate that, man. It was no, it all was perfect. Everyone that showed up, it was pretty cool. It's like the thing about a wedding is like I don't know if I'm ever gonna get and I took some time to kind of appreciate this, but Spadoni did go.
Yes, but I was actually shocked. Spadoni, it was funny. On your night before party, he was like, "Man, if the Raiders lose this game to the Panthers, fuck." And I was like, "Well, we'll see."
Yeah. Well, Spadoni knew as much as anyone though that the Raiders had a chance of losing that game. But
oh yeah, no, he was. We went through the whole history of the backup quarterbacks.
Yeah, but being able to sit up at the dinner table, we were highly elevated. Like I didn't expect us to be up so high.
You guys were on a stage.
Yeah, but being able to look into each dinner table and see everyone from my life that's come into it, also from Jesse's life that are now all a part of my life as well, seeing all of them in one room, probably not going to happen again. So it was pretty special for everyone to show up. Like you mentioned, everyone from old people from work, all my, oldest friends, obviously some new friends that I've met through Jesse, Jesse's family, my family. Yeah, it was amazing, man. It was amazing. It was one of the best nights of my life.
Oh, and dude, and then afterwards we went to Dan's in Walnut Creek. Mm-hmm. The 80s hair metal band that was doing the covers was awesome. But it was shitty though. Like I went outside because I had all these stogies that I got for us to smoke, but you were occupied for most of the time. So I had some stogies, and I went to go smoke outside for a bit, and then the people at Dan's were like, "You can't come back in here." Oh. I was like, "Well, Jesus!" And I was like, "Well, what time do you guys close?" They're like, "We're going to close about 40 minutes." I was like, "Well, I guess I'm chilling here until Jacob comes out because Jacob was going to stay at my place." I was like, "Well, I'll just be the weird guy on the wall, just smoking a cigar in a suit."
Yeah,
outside.
Yeah. Yeah, it's like, damn, he's been through a rough night.
Yeah, exactly. So people came up to me and they were like, "So were you at the wedding, or you just wear suits to bars?" I was like, "Yeah, no, I was in the wedding."
Dude, we had some random person. She might have been like a regular at the bar. I don't know. But we had some random person who was just obsessed with us in that bar. Obsessed.
I noticed that. Was she in the hoodie?
Yes.
Yeah.
It was weird.
Yeah, she wanted you guys to have a good time.
Yeah, and then she like paid the band to have me and Jesse go up on stage and during Jesse's Girl, and
yeah, it was awesome.
It made me laugh though because Jesse was in the bathroom when that happened, and I know Jesse happens to hate that song, despises it. Anytime I play it, she gives me a death stare. Like it's a big no. So the fact that was the song that she chose, it was pretty funny.
Yeah,
but, dude, the thing that was one of my favorite parts of the night was right at the end after they closed and we're all kind of standing around waiting for our Ubers. We're standing outside and this little guy, smaller gentleman.
Yeah, I met him.
He was also bald with, I think he was like wearing Crocs. He like comes up to me and he's like, "Hey man, thanks for joining us on stage." And I looked at him. I was like, "You were one of the guys in the band?" You know, he's like, "I was the guitarist." No way.
Oh yeah,
It's just
Took his
funny 'cause
wig
they were
off.
all suited up in their little platform shoes, probably with the hair. Yeah, I didn't recognize them at all.
Yeah, no, there was another guy outside that was like, "Hey man, could I get some of your cigars? We're having a party back at my place. It's my birthday." And I was like, "Nah, I'm saving these, man." He's like, "Bro, it's my birthday. You're not giving me these cigars?" I was like, "Dude, I spent good money on these cigars. I don't even know you."
He didn't. Did he have like an accent?
No, he had like longer hair and he was shorter than me, and he was like, "Yeah, it's my birthday, bro. You're not gonna give me cigars?" I was like, "Dude, no. Like it's one thing if you bum a smoke, but like to take cigars, nah, no."
I was talking to this one Russian dude outside, and he some really interesting things to say. Just the way that he spoke about women and what he was doing in downtown Walnut Creek. It was. I'm not even going to repeat any of it because it's just feels slimy saying whatever he was saying. But I was like, Jesus, dude,
Was it
you got it,
Putin?
huh?
Was it Putin?
It was not Putin. No, Derek. Putin was not in downtown Walnut Creek
You
hanging
never
out
know.
in between Bourbon Highway and Dan's. Putin just trying to figure out whether he wants to go country or go dive.
Yeah, exactly.
No,
Putin,
I
Putin, Dan.
met this dude and I was talking to him and I was trying to be, I was like, I'm not judging you. Yeah, I'm not judging, but I was absolutely judging.
Yeah,
the entire
no,
time in the back
I
of
know
my
your
head.
judgmental face. Yeah,
I was like, yeah.
yeah.
It's
Well,
like
no, dude,
so weird.
it was a fantastic time. So yeah, and that happened a week ago.
Yep.
And then yeah, the other emotional thing this week. I know you went. You went on Thursday for the actual last game in Oakland.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I was not able to go. I had to do Tolbert and Copes, and I didn't know if I was going to go at all last week to the A's games because I said myself and I told myself in my mind when they played the Giants about a month ago, whatever it was. Um, they won 2-0. I went with my little brother and I was like, you know what? This is it. I'm good with this being my last time. And then once the date came up and I was like, damn, you know what? I really need to go. So got the hookup from our guy Cody, went Wednesday night, and it was awesome. I took a video, a 6-minute video of me trying to cross the BART bridge to the Coliseum. And I hope to release the full thing of that video. I did like a little bit, like 2-minute clip of it, because that's all you can fit on Twitter. But it was awesome. Like you got the whole feel of it, like people selling you trying to sell you hot dogs, and
Right.
some woman screaming out, "I got edibles, I got shrooms, I got weed. Who
Yeah.
wants it?"
That's a new one.
Yeah, that's a very new one. People passing out "Fuck John Fisher" shirts. And then at the very end, when I finally crossed it, I took like a big sigh because I was like, "This is it." And I didn't even mind the long lines. I just wanted to soak it in. I literally did not sit down one time on Wednesday night. I literally just walked the whole time. I met up with. I saw everybody I wanted to see. With the exception of Chris Townsend, he wanted to jet and do post game, but I saw Sonny Martinez, I saw Evan, I saw Jacob, I saw Rick Tittle, saw Cody, and the most beautiful moment of the night. I went to go see Carl Buzchek, and he was sitting in a good seat next to his dad and brother, and it was just like beautiful. It was just like a family of A's fans just soaking it in one last time.
Yeah.
And I did a walk around, I did a lap around the whole Coliseum. Did not want to wait in line for any concessions because it was just going to be way too long, and that's not part of the experience. So I went down to like kind of the underdwellings area, if you know where it is, to get like a pretzel and a beer, and just walked and just soaked it in. Did not watch an inning of baseball, and it was awesome. And yeah, it was an emotional experience. And as I was leaving, there was just a sea of people. It was very reminiscent of when you and I left Christmas Eve for the last Raider game, and it was just like moving at snail's pace to get through BART.
Yeah.
So, and every time like we wouldn't move, I just like look back at the Coliseum just to like get one last look at it because that was going to be it. And yeah, man, let me just hear your experience the last day because I'll have more to say about this.
Yeah. Well, for me, I mean, I was working. So at the end of the day, it kind of, it like, it Yeah, I don't get. I guess I didn't have a chance to really soak it all in, but at the same time, as I'm making the walk down the BART bridge, I wouldn't say the one getting in there was the emotional one for me. The one leaving it, though,
Yeah.
that was brutal because that's where I like it's just like the cordiest shit ever. I'm like turning around and like
Yeah.
blowing kisses to the collie. No, I think what you hit on though was with Carl's family. I think you saw that with a lot of people. Just even me on BART, like I'm seeing. It looked like two parents met up with their kid, and they met on BART so they could go in together. And they've clearly, like, just based on you could tell how long people have been fans kind of based on their clothing. They normally have one item of clothing that kind of shows they've been doing this for a long time, going to A's games, that is.
Yeah.
And yeah, they just you saw a lot of that. A lot of families just wanting to celebrate one last game because it's not going to be passed down. And I think that's what hurts with this move the most, is knowing that I was kind of a product of growing into a baseball fan just because I went to games at the Coliseum, and that's just what you did because that's what my parents did. And I know a lot of other people had that same experience. So the fact that they won't be able to experience that, the fact that there were some with younger children there, God, I really feel for the dads or the moms who've grown up A's fans and maybe, got together and they had that A's fandom in common, and they had this dream maybe that they were going to raise their children to become A's fans and they could become one big happy A's family. Well, that dream's gone now. And I think that that's kind of something that really hit me. And maybe it was because my brother was there too with my niece and my nephew. And my brother doesn't seem to care about like the whole Giants versus A's rivalry thing. Like he basically turned into an A's fan over the past few years since his kids were born. So they won't have a chance to do that. I know my sister-in-law's dad, who is born and raised in Hayward and was still a huge Raiders fan and A's fan as well. I know that she was texting me, my sister-in-law, that he was getting teary-eyed just sitting there before the game, just soaking everything in. Yeah, there's a lot. And it just sucked because it's all on this one guy who just doesn't want to put in an effort. I know there's a lot of stuff that goes around about the city in Oakland has a part in this and whatever. Sure they do. But if they had an owner that was actually motivated to keep this team around, they would want to keep this team around. I think the city and then would get something negotiated. So that's also what sucks too, is there's one guy, one evil John Fisher, who's taking that away.
Yep. Nope. He ruined it for all of us. But your mom went too, right, Steven?
Yeah, my mom was there. She brought her brother and sister, or her brother and good Lord, her brother and niece. I don't know, I'm blanking on that. Yeah, she was there too. Emotional for her as well.
Oh yeah. I mean, your mom was a big A's fan. It was a weird experience for me the whole week. So my dad went Tuesday night. And I wasn't surprised he was going back, but he has he goes periodically, but he doesn't go frequently to the Coliseum anymore. And when I heard him the next morning on his show talk about the experience and him breaking down and crying about it, that got me, because honestly, I would not be the sports fan that I am today without my dad. And my dad is the reason why I bleed silver and black. I still do to this day. I may not be as invested as I was in years past, but that's because of my dad. But my true first love of sports were the Oakland A's. I was a baseball fan when I was way younger. Didn't understand football yet. That's when I got into football, the Raiders were my number one love. But I love them all. I love the A's. I love the Raiders. I love the Warriors. And yeah, just hearing my dad talk about it, it was crushing, because that basically what he's talking about is he's not going to have those moments anymore of taking me or my little brother or my sisters to the Coliseum. I was raised in that booth, man. It wasn't just my dad. It was Ray Fosse. That guy was, a lot of former baseball players would be like, what the fuck is this kid doing in here? But he was more than welcoming. Ken Korak was always extremely nice. Bill King I met a few times, but he was very nice as well. But other people that worked on my dad's crew, like Dave Feldman, the best statistician in sports, Robert Bwan,
Robert Bwan,
Charlene, who worked on the TV, my guy Bruce, who was a cameraman. It just sucks. It sucks. And that's just, we had Brody Brazil come in on Wednesday to co-host with Copes, and I'm so grateful that he was able to do that, because just to hear his experience got me as well. And then going out there, it hasn't really hit me yet, even though I was trying to and just soak it all in. It's not going to hit me until next summer, when I'm like, I got nothing going on. I'll just hop on the train and go to the Coliseum. I won't be able to do that anymore. It
Right.
sucks. And the worst thing was walking around and seeing very small kids with their parents, and them doing like, let's go Oakland, and that's not going to be a thing anymore. So,
well, see,
the co-
like,
yeah, go ahead.
here's another thing where I go though, like, I still, and this is just me trying to be Mr. I don't know, Mr. Glass half full, Mr. Optimistic, but I'm just, boy, am I giving you this thing through the microphone, like through the screen?
No, you're good. You're good.
But I think, like, I just don't see how they're going to pull through with this whole Sacramento and Las Vegas deal. I know
They won't.
This is the last thing with Oakland, but there are plenty of groups who would be willing to buy the team from John Fisher. And I think Rick Tittle put it very eloquently through Twitter in his little notes app thing, saying it's not too late. It's not too late for him to actually sell it, because the Coliseum, now owned by the African American Sports and Entertainment Group, there'd be different firms hoping to that would be willing to buy that team, to purchase this team, and maybe work with the city. I'm not convinced that this is the end. I'm just not. I know that they're going to be heading to Sacramento next year, but even the Sacramento thing, like, I know Scott Boras is just an agent, but Scott Boras, I think his voice or his words just speak volumes. And I think what he said about Sacramento, how the players union isn't okay with it, and they're going to be doing that for the next 3 seasons before there's a stadium built in Vegas. What's the other thing is, the stadium that's going to be built in Vegas, it's not what John Fisher even wanted. What John Fisher wanted was basically a small little city where the Coliseum, or rather a new stadium, would just kind of be a cog in the machine, so to speak. It'd be a place for, like, I don't know, a shopping mall, movie theaters, like a whole plaza. And he didn't even get that in Vegas. So it's just, at one point, when is he going to, I think there's going to be a point where he crumbles and just kind of gives in. But I don't know. I know Major League Baseball's had a hand in it too, and the commissioner's office. I'm not convinced. I'm not convinced this is the end.
I would hope so. I would hope that they could find a way to come back here. But if that is the case, it sucks. And the experience that I had on Wednesday night, just seeing all the A's fans, and what really got me deep was just the random Raiders that would go out through the Coliseum. And, like my friend, like Sonny Martinez was like, why do they scream Raiders still? And I was like, because they miss them. Because they miss them. That's really what it is. And I think Scott Van Pelt put it perfectly on SportsCenter on Thursday night, where it's just like, Oakland, yeah, is it the best city in the world? No. Is it the best location? No. But they had 3 teams leave. And it's just the death of Oakland sports, and it sucks. I love when he said, like, the Warriors are in San Francisco, but there's nothing Oakland about their arena, and that's true. I don't think Joe Lacob cares about that, but that's how fans feel. And that's the way that A's fans are going to look at, them going to Sacramento or Las Vegas. That's how I personally feel about the Raiders currently in Las Vegas, their stadium. There's nothing Oakland about them. It's a Las Vegas museum for the Raiders. So that's what sucks. And yeah, man, what really hurts is all 3 of those teams that I grew up watching are gone. And it's not lost on me that I was extraordinarily lucky to have my father and have the access that I did, that I probably took for granted, being able to go to that place all the time like it was my home. And people, were working very hard to get tickets to go to those games, and it was an experience. So long live Oakland sports, man. No matter that they're gone, they'll always have a place in my heart. The A's, the Raiders, and the Warriors in Oakland. So yeah, long live the Coliseum and long live Oakland sports.
And if fans didn't show up because the stadium wasn't up to their standard, then they don't deserve to be a fan of that team in the first place. And that was never the case with
No.
A's fans. That was such a misconception when they weren't getting any fans there. It's not because of the Coliseum. No, they love to go to the Coliseum, but they also know that they are putting the money into this team, which isn't giving anything back as far as like the idea that Eric Chavez was like the highest paid free agent or whatever, and they have not, like, I forgot what the tweet was, but someone showed like what Eric Chavez got paid and like what their payroll is this year, like the payroll differences from 2004 to 2024. It's very minuscule. Like, you're not supposed to be paying a total payroll of whatever $60 million and then have that be a $5 million jump over the next 20 years. Like, it shouldn't work that way. So I hated that whole misconception throughout this thing, because even I had an attachment to the Coliseum, like a pretty strong one. So I almost like found that offensive. It's like, well, their stadium sucks. It's like, well, people showed up. People showed up to the stadium. It wasn't about that. It was never about that.
No, it was never about that. Raider fans showed up. Warrior fans showed up. A's fans didn't show up because of the way that they were constructed, the way the team was built. But you saw it the last few days. That place was packed more than I've ever seen it for a baseball game. It was awesome. And I love that they won on Thursday, and they got the win, and you could hear celebration one last time in that stadium. And even if they did lose, they still should have played it, regardless of what happened, the outcome. I thought Mark Kotsay was perfect in what he said to the fans. I mean, it was very fitting. Stu and Ricky Henderson throwing out the first pitch, both of them together. Zito singing the national anthem. You didn't think it was that great. I thought it was. You know what? For who he is, it wasn't bad.
I'm not going to comment. My opinion on the matter in my opinion, doesn't matter. What matters is Barry Zito was one of the great A's ball players, and it was really cool that they brought him out for the rendition. What I thought of the rendition, who cares?
Okay, I will admit, he probably should have broke out the guitar.
It's just, I thought he was going to.
It was better than who's my guy? DeMarcus Ware singing at the Hall of Fame.
Yeah.
It was better than that. But yeah, Zito, I mean, it was okay, but like he's a pitcher. It was pretty good.
He's also a country singer, so it's like, if you've ever heard his country songs, but no, man, it was he's the guy that got all the young children, all the kids trying to throw a 12-6 curveball when they were younger. Maybe that was just me.
I didn't even know about his song until this week. Baseball Kids or Ballpark Kids?
Ballpark Kids, dude.
Yeah, I did not even know about that one.
Uh-huh.
Yeah. So yeah, and Ken Korach, man, I'm glad that everyone has access to that call, because that is the voice of summer. When I think of the A's now, I think of him, and he put it beautifully. His final call with the A's at the Oakland Coliseum. So
I actually haven't heard that yet.
Oh, it is. He nails it as Ken would. So yeah. Awesome experience.
Ken, I think, is like I'd say he's one of the most underappreciated announcers that we have here in the Bay Area.
Oh yeah.
And I hope, to be honest, they didn't get a radio station deal done once they left 95.7, or at least one that stuck. And I'm not trying to crap on what they tried to do to make up for it on A's Cast or anything like that, but you didn't have him running on like a local radio station anymore, and that kind of, or at least a well-known local radio station. And I think we kind of forgot that Ken Korach is absolutely one of the best in the business, and
no doubt.
And like hearing his just walk-off calls growing up, like I don't even have like a concrete example for you, but I can tell you that a majority of those calls ended with, "And the A's have won it." It's just like, oh, I get chills even thinking about it.
He's got a perfect voice, and I'm glad it was him on the mic for the last call. So yeah,
Ugh.
yeah, it sucks, and
Oh, it's terrible, man.
I know it really hasn't set in with me yet. By this time, well, not this time, but when we're doing the off-season shows, and I'm like, how do I pass the time not focusing on NFL news? I'll be like, well, I could go to an A's game, and that won't be an option anymore, which will suck.
Yep.
But long live Oakland sports. Real quick before we get to some football, I was not expecting this last night. Karl Anthony Towns traded to the Knicks.
Yeah.
Where the hell did that come from? Out of nowhere. And there was always rumors about him possibly getting traded. I knew he was making a lot of money. I thought they would just run it back. But then, they have a pretty good big man crew with Rudy Gobert and who's the other guy? Naz Reid.
Yeah.
But I didn't think they'd do it now. Like, shit, they're about to go to training camp. That's a huge trade. And Woj wasn't around for it. Shams has now got power of being the king of the NBA breaking news. But yeah, Karl Anthony Towns gets traded for who was it? Julius Randle, Dante DiVincenzo. So the Nova Knicks get broken up before they even started.
Yeah.
And a first round pick. I don't know what to make of it. I think that it's pretty good move for both teams. But honestly, you could have just run it back with the teams that the Knicks and the T-Wolves had, and I would have been fine with it. I didn't see the need for this, but maybe financially it makes sense.
Maybe, and I want to see what the lingering moves are with this, because this can't just be, the Minnesota Timberwolves are trading their top star for a couple of guys. Like they got to have some sort of a plan. And I don't know, maybe there was something in the locker room where it's like Karl Anthony Towns isn't the guy Anthony Edwards is. I guess that, you know what though, but thinking about it, like I even thought about it last night too. They have a really great relationship.
Yeah.
It seems like those two guys, like they were the kind of, the buddy comedy duo of the NBA, kind of besides Jalen Brunson and Josh Hart, I guess, on the Knicks. But like those were always the two guys. You looked at their press conferences and you kind of always laughed.
We've been losing for 20 years. Goddamn.
like what? I don't think there's any dysfunction there. So it's a really kind of a bizarre move. But maybe they found that they're not moving they're not moving much further forward if they keep Karl Anthony Towns on.
I don't know, man. I mean, they were in the Western Conference Finals. I know offensively, defensively that hard time containing Luka and Kyrie, but is it just to get more shooting off the bench with DiVincenzo and Julius Randle's a cheaper option? I don't know. I mean, yes, I there was always rumors that they were going to trade Karl Anthony Towns at some point, but I didn't expect it now after the season they just had. So I think the Knicks got better. The T-Wolves are still in the mix. I think Julius Randle's fine. Anthony Edwards is going to be that star now. But yeah, very surprising move right before the season starts.
Who's the Timberwolves writer for The Athletic? Really well known.
John. I always want to say John Krasinski, but that's not it.
Yeah. Well, it's something like that. But he tweeted out last night and also wrote in his article that something that I think is pretty profound and something you don't see nowadays, especially with just the player empowerment, whatever. But Karl Anthony Towns never requested a trade. Yeah. And I think that means something, man. I think that means something for his character as to who he is as a person, especially with all what he went through at the start of COVID. Do you remember that? I mean,
his mom passing away.
Yeah. And then everyone out here trying to argue that COVID's not real and all that sort of stuff. And it was one of the worst times ever, but never requested a trade out of Minnesota. Stuck with them. Wow.
Yep.
That's something you don't see very often. You don't have the Damian Lillards or the Giannis Antetokounmpos of the world anymore. It's pretty rare you find that. So for Karl Anthony Towns to never request a trade in 9 years, I commend him just for that alone.
Yeah, and I wonder how he's going to fit in with the New York media and whatnot. There'll be a lot of pressure on him, and that Knicks team is probably finals or bust. Excuse me, Steven.
What?
Give me this COVID through the
I think, is there something? Yes. Is there contagion through microphone? We should look that up. This might be the first case of it.
Probably not. But yeah, shocking move. I did not expect that one coming. And then last night, I don't know if you were watching, Steven. Did you see the end of the Miami Virginia Tech game?
No.
Oh God. Cam Ward may be your first overall pick in this upcoming NFL draft. He's
Ooh.
very good. And if my sister wasn't having a goddamn engagement party next weekend, I would definitely go check out Miami at Cal. But alas, whatever. Everyone's getting married these days. But yeah, great performance by him. There was a Hail Mary right at the end. And it almost was going to be like a fail Mary thing. The guy had the ball in the end zone, no time remaining. It's ruled a touchdown. However, the Miami defenders knock it out pretty quickly. So it was almost like, did he come down with it? Did he possess the ball long enough for it to be a touchdown? And after a long review, the guy comes out and he says, after further review, and you think he's going to say the call stands, he goes, the call's overturned, Miami wins. And everybody's like, I don't know about that one. Now, I can make the point that he did not possess the ball long enough in the end zone, but I can't 100% say that he did not catch that football. So very Fail Mary-ish ending to last night's game.
I'm looking at it now. Damn.
Yeah.
So they
I can't say it was definitive one way or the other, but I think they got the call right.
So they called it
the call on the
incomplete.
field was touchdown. Then they reversed it to incomplete.
Okay, gotcha. As he was, I'm looking at the replay now.
Yeah,
probably not great podcast stuff, but I'm looking at the replay.
In the moment, you were like, "There's not concrete evidence to overturn this," and they thought there was.
Wow, that's unbelievable. I'm now kind of sad that I missed that.
Oh, it was exciting. It was exciting, but yeah.
No, it's good that I think it's good for college football that Miami is at least competitive with a quarterback now. I don't know why. Just feels it feels good with the U. Actually,
no, I mean the U's always fun. Glad Texas is winning. Number one for right now. We'll see if that continues. Actually, don't know if it's Quinn Ewers or Arch Manning today. Probably Arch. But
Arch.
Yeah, Arch is fun to watch.
How'd it go? How'd it go on Saturday? I didn't even look back. Did you manage to keep up with any of the game during my wedding on Saturday?
No, Steven, I was having such a good time. I didn't think about college football.
Wow.
But you guys, I did find it funny. Your guy Sam Lubman in line for drinks with the quad box on his phone.
He had that going.
Yeah, he had that going.
Of course he did.
And I don't blame him. I don't blame him. It's a good college slate. Speaking of football, you got a great day Saturday, amazing wedding, best day of your life. Did you watch any of the Raider game the next day?
Caught a little bit of it.
Yeah.
Yeah, I did.
Oof. I mean, are we surprised? Like, literally, you and I were saying this could happen, and it did, but I wasn't expecting the thorough ass kicking that it was.
I think Andy Dalton's just been waiting for his moment, dude.
Yeah, and the defense was totally not prepared for him.
But is this like an indictment on I mean, this is obviously an indictment on the Raiders, but is this any on Bryce Young? Like,
well, I think that Dave Canales can actually scheme it up, and I think that Andy Dalton fits in that offense, and they have skill guys. I mean, God, some of those passes they were catching, the Deontay Johnson touchdown and the Adam Thielen touchdown.
Yeah,
like, where these guys come from?
Yeah,
it was night and day with Andy Dalton playing quarterback.
Yeah, for sure. But at the end of the day, dude, the Raiders just they don't have, and I think what's kind of been made apparent more than anything over these last few weeks, this Zamir White experiment is not working. This whole we're just gonna move off of Josh Jacobs and we're gonna plug Zamir White in as the starter hasn't worked so far. They don't have any threat of a run game, and as you know, you don't establish that run game, then you don't get play action, blah, 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 blah. Yeah, they don't have that right now. Do we have you right now?
Can you hear me?
I could hear you.
You lost my camera, I guess.
Yeah, now you're back being frozen.
Damn. All right. Well, I'll just talk. You don't need to see me. I'll be like a ventriloquist for the rest of this podcast.
Oh, goody.
Yeah, it was bad. It was bad. And I mean, Max Crosby was not 100%. He came out, I guess he was playing with a high ankle sprain. The defense was just not prepared for Andy Dalton. And, Antonio Pierce in the post game, business decisions. And then he's like, we're going to keep that stuff in house. You call out the team and then, you do it to the media. And then I guess you do something behind closed doors to their faces, I guess. But I don't know. not good. And then you get the injury report this week. Devontae Adams is out. Max Crosby's out. Michael Mayer's out. I don't know. Until the Raiders win a game, I can't take them seriously right now.
No, but this is gonna be who they are, man. You could restart your camera at least, can't you? Thank you, already.
Yeah, yeah. Hang on one second. Let me try to get back in here. Hang on
Yeah,
one
we need
second,
that
guys.
because you just look like you're just pissed at whatever I was talking about. Now I'm live just on my own. How about this? This is something. Yeah, Antonio Pierce's comments after the game. Guys making business decisions and will make business decisions later on. You know what? I'll give my take on it while Derek's gone. I just thought, like, when he said that, isn't that kind of a coaching thing, though? Aren't you supposed to have your players motivated and ready to go, not to the point where they're making business decisions? And I don't know if that means not wanting to make a tackle, not willing to make a block when you should have. I don't know what business decisions he was talking about, but it feels like your players wouldn't be making business decisions if you had them heading in the right direction, at least in a direction where they're going to go all out. I feel like that was something on coaching. I don't know. There's always that difference there. All right. Derek, device is not connected. We're waiting on him. I haven't gone through these messages really. Oh, he's gone again. Tacky, KTVU still this morning is running final homestand commercials. When did the A's ever advertise on local TV in the last 10 years? It's been a while. Tacky, I've always been a Giants fan, but love the Coliseum. It wasn't the nicest, but I'd say the field itself is the best in baseball. Yeah, that A's ground crew does not get the respect they deserve for the perfectly manicured field. I guess a lot of grounds crew don't really get that credit, do they? It's always about the stadium, how it's set up, the easiest way to get to the exits, the parking situation. It's never having appreciation for what we see on the field, is it? From Ernie, to hell with Sonic. What's wrong with Sonic?
What's wrong with Sonic?
I don't know. What's wrong with Sonic?
I don't know. Sonic the Hedgehog or the drive-through?
I think he's talking about the drive-through. Because
no, any place that comes up with rollerblades to serve you food is good with me.
They don't really do that anymore, though.
Yeah, I know they don't.
Do they?
That was more of a 1950s thing. No, I mean, back in the day when I went to high school, they would serve on roller skates. And that's why I could never work there, because I can't roller skate.
You can't?
Nah. Can't ice skate, can't roller skate.
I
know. My balance is terrible. Had an awful date going to the ice rink one time. God, that was embarrassing.
What, did you suggest that?
No. This girl in high school did, and I was falling all over the place, busting my ass right in front of her. She thought it was cute. I thought it was humiliating.
It's a very high school thing to do, though, isn't it?
Very high school thing, especially in the summertime.
Yeah.
Went to the ice rink in the summertime in Houston.
One time, me and the guy, one of the grooms, Tyler,
yeah,
and a couple of other friends, we met up at the ice rink with this other group, and one of the girls Tyler was interested in, and another one of the girls I was interested in, and then we had that. I know, Jesse, we're married, but it's been a long time since then, and we're trying to. It's at Sharks Ice in Fremont, and we're trying to like show off in front of this group of girls that met with us at the ice rink, And Tyler and I started. we were racing. We decided to race from one end of the rink to the other. I don't know why, because we're just stupid high school kids trying to show off for the girls, and we both absolutely tripped and fell at the exact same time. It slid right into the boards.
Ooh,
it's amazing. It was the best.
It would have been better if the Zamboni guy comes through and goes, look at these losers, ladies. Come on with me.
Dude.
I'm the king of the ice.
Come on, G. Want to take a ride in my Zamboni?
Yeah. But yeah, Raiders, huge disappointment.
Anyway, back to the Raiders.
Yeah, huge disappointment. And just a plethora of injuries for tomorrow's game. Don't feel good. Don't feel good about this Raider team.
I don't know how you're supposed to be. And really, like, I don't know. I said it when you were kind of getting your camera restarted, but the fact that Antonio Pierce is doing this business decisions bit.
Yeah.
And yet somehow, like, how is that not on the coach to have your players ready to play, not make those sort of business decisions? Like the thing, I don't think Kyle Shanahan gets enough credit for, and I know we're gonna pile on him as soon here because of whatever decisions he makes coaching wise. But one thing I'll say for the 49ers is they always seem, and he always seems to have the players motivated to go all out. Now, Brandon Ayuk's not playing the same way right now. It's pretty clear. It's clear and obvious that he's not the same. But the way you hear people talk about this team and their preparation, their practices, it's different from other teams they've played on. And I thought Antonio Pierce was going to bring a bit of that to the Raiders. But if players are already making business decisions and it's week 3 of the NFL season, I kind of think that falls a little bit on the coach.
I 100% agree. And I think that he totally got out coached by Dave Canales. And I said this last time with Alon. I think the cigar stuff's got to go because that makes it seem like we're grateful to get wins. There needs to be a new mentality now of you got your ass kicked by the Panthers. Now you need to start setting a precedent where wins are commonplace. And this whole let's party in the locker room, let's light up cigars, that gives off a bad vibe to me. And I've always didn't like that, but I understood that they're trying to get a different culture in there from the military mindset of Josh McDaniels. So now I think it's time to change that. You can still have fun, but if they win a game, if they beat the Browns tomorrow, act like it's business as usual. Don't need the cigars.
So you're thinking it gives off a Todd Downing running down the sideline as if he won the Super Bowl,
absolutely,
on a deep ball vibe. You're giving it. You think it's giving that
on
one?
Christmas Day, that fucking goof. I know he loves Goldmember and all that shit, but God, no, wait, was that him or Nathaniel Hackett?
That was Nathaniel Hackett.
I think it was both of them, though. Both of them were like really into movies.
Yeah.
Goldmember. Speaking of the 49ers, look, everyone's shitting on Kyle this week. I don't think Kyle did anything wrong, to be completely honest. I think he should have never admitted that they knew the fake punt was coming and they couldn't stop it. I wouldn't let that be known to the world, but whatever. Special teams were bad 2 weeks in a row. I can't blame Jake Moody for missing that field goal. He should make that. You don't blame Kyle for asking him to kick that field goal because he's made 2 50-yard field goals in the Super Bowl. Don't blame him. The punt return to set up the Rams to win that game was really bad. Brock Purdy played an amazing game. Juwan Jennings played an amazing game. Brandon Ayuk, he's not living up to $30 million a year. I'm not making a big deal about what happened yesterday. I understand that people want to look into Kyle and Ayuk don't get along. Maybe not, but they are joined at the hip now because they signed to the contract. And I think Kyle would have run upstairs to John Lynch to stop the Steelers trade if he didn't want Brandon Ayuk on his football team. However, the whole thing of him dropping his shorts at practice was fucking weird. That was a weird thing.
Wait,
you see that?
Happened? No, I didn't see this.
Grant Cohn released a video yesterday where Kyle was talking to Ayuk, and everybody was wearing black shorts. Ayuk was wearing red shorts. Kyle, I'm assuming, tells him, take those shorts off. And they kind of get into it. And then in not a temper tantrum like people characterized it, but Ayuk just drops his pants and picks up the shorts that he should be wearing. I guess he was wearing the red shorts over the black shorts that he should have been wearing. And the funniest part is he tries to kick the other shorts up like a child, like a little kid that would kick their shorts away, and he misses. It was hilarious. But people were like, is there a rift between Kyle and Ayuk? There's probably fights like that all the time on the practice field. And he just wanted to he had the wrong shorts on. So whatever. This is kind of ridiculous to me.
I could see there being a rift between him and Kyle, though.
Yeah, I mean, there probably is, but they signed him to the contract. So what are you going to do at this point?
Right. No, and I think not more than anything, really. I know you want to, we got to pin this loss solely on the 49ers, but I also got to give the Rams credit. Even early on in the game, like in the first half, Matthew Stafford was making some pretty unreal throws.
Yep.
That were dimes. And not to say Brock Purdy wasn't, but I think you got to give Matt Stafford some credit for how he was throwing the football the way he did to a lack of actual pieces around him. And I think Kyron Robinson as well, or Kyron Williams rather, just keeping the chains moving, man. Just getting positive yards. He's a really, really good running back. So I do think you got to give the Rams credit, but 49ers starting 1-2. It's happened before. This is
Yeah.
not the worst start that they've been off to. I remember when it was all doom and gloom when they went 3-5, and then they ended up rattling off like 8 straight wins or whatever that crazy number was in 2021, then went all the way to the NFC Championship. So I don't really think there's much to worry about early on. I think, if anything, you should be happy that Brock Purdy's playing the way that he did, because I think he answered a lot of questions without a guy like Christian McCaffrey or Deebo Samuel on the field. And obviously there were the drops. I think Ronnie Bell, you've run into another kind of Dante Pettis. I don't want to say Jalen Hurd situation, because Jalen Hurd was just injuries, but you've run into another situation here where you've drafted a wide receiver pretty high. And even now in his second year, Ronnie Bell's just not lived up to whatever they were expecting of him. So it might be his close to the end of his time with the 49ers. I mean, might just let him play out the season. And what I'm also seeing too is that defense, they need Dre Greenlaw, because that front four is not really the same anymore. Obviously, you're missing Javon Hargrave for the rest of the season now, which sucks, or Javon Hargrave rather. That front seven needs to step it up. I think if there's one concern you can have, or that's valid, it's that front seven not being the same as it was in the past.
And also the linebacking core having trouble covering. Who was it? The linebacker, Devondre Campbell, giving up the pass plays and the penalties. And my dad and Tim Ryan were talking about maybe Curtis Robinson's that guy that fills in, and now Curtis Robinson's out for the season with a torn ACL. So there's injuries, no doubt. McCaffrey going off to Germany to get some special goo to put on his Achilles. By the way, Brody Brazil brought up a really good point. Has there been mention of any, has anybody said which Achilles it is?
I don't think so.
It might be both.
Yeah.
It might be both. And I don't know when he did this, but from what I'm hearing, and I'm not getting this from my dad, don't put that on me, everybody. He might have hurt himself worse by trying to play against the Minnesota Vikings.
Yeah.
That's what I think happened. He was doing okay, and then he tried to come back, and he tweaked something even worse.
That Thursday where he had his worst day. Yeah, I think he did something there, because you don't just go from, he'd play if it was the postseason. This is just Monday night. It's the season opener. We could have him take the week off. He looked good last week. We just got to give him a little more time to, we got to go to Germany to get this checked. And maybe he'll be back week 13. Like, there's something different going on here that they're not letting on.
Yeah, and all the former
NFL Wiseman-ish.
A little bit, yeah. Like all the former NFL doctors, we had Dr. David Chow come on with us, and he said, don't expect him to come back right when his time on IR is done. He probably will be gone for quite some time.
I love how we have to call him by his entire name plus
Dr. David Chow.
Dr. David Chow. He's nothing else. He's not David. He's not Dr. Chow. He's not Dr. David. He's Dr. David Chow.
Well, yeah. You earned that title, Stephen.
Yes, I know, but I love that.
Yeah. Dr. David Chow.
You don't shorten it. You got to say the entire thing.
Yeah. All right. Real quick. I know you didn't watch this game, Stephen, but I'll just briefly mention this. Thursday night, Cowboys beat the Giants 20-15. Not a great game. Couple touchdowns from the Cowboys really won that game. And Giants played pretty good defense, not enough offense. Malik Neighbors is really good wide receiver. The thing that I liked, though, was Brian Daboll keeping his team in the game, kicking field goals. That's something Raheem Morris could have done last week against the Chiefs. That's something that Nick Sirianni could have done against the Saints. Now, Nick Sirianni won that game, but there's nothing wrong with kicking field goals every once in a while. So while the Giants lost, I commend Brian Daboll for keeping his team in the game. 3 points helps your team out. Just had to get it off my chest. I think some coaches need to kick more field goals. All right. So, should we pick some of these games?
Sure.
All right, let's do it. And the only thing will be called wins or wings.
Mm-hmm.
What music are you going with?
Oh, God damn it. I forgot about the music.
Yeah, you're rusty.
I'm going with the normal music.
Here we go. The generic garage band music. All right, here we go, Steven. We didn't pick the Thursday night game, so we're starting off with a blank slate, 0-0 between you and I. Let's start with the cat game. The Cincinnati Bengals are 0-3, surprisingly. Even though you watched that Commander game and Jaden Daniels looked really good. But they're 0-3. The Panthers got off the snide last week. But the Bengals are 4.5-point favorites, and the over-under is 46.5.
God, you got to think that the Bengals are going to come through at one point. Look, the Andy Dalton thing against the Raiders was great, but what are the trends that we've seen, Derek? Not just with how the Raiders lose to these quarterbacks, but how those quarterbacks play the week after.
Yep.
And it's always pretty terrible. I think history will show you that, whether it's that game against the Colts, whether it's that game against the Rams. They always play well against the Raiders, but the next week a team figures them out. So I have the Bengals winning this one, lay the points, and you know what? I'll just give them the over, just to give the Bengals or the Panthers the benefit of the doubt. But yeah, give me the over, lay the points with the Bengals.
Yeah, the Bengals need to get a win here, so I'm taking them. I'm laying the points. I think Andy Dalton definitely is night and day over Bryce Young, but we'll see how he does against this Bengals team that the defense needs to show that they can actually stop somebody from their performance with Jaden Daniels. I'm going to go under, though. I don't like the 46.5, so I'm going to go under on that total, but I got the Bengals winning, and I got them laying the points.
Okay.
All right, then we go to New York for the Denver Broncos taking on the New York Jets. The Jets are 7.5-point favorites. Over-under is 39.5. And if you remember last year, this was supposed to be the game where Aaron Rodgers was going to get revenge on Sean Payton for talking shit about Nathaniel Hackett. Now we get that game. So yeah, Jets are favored, over under 39.5. What say you, Steven?
I'll lay the points with the Jets, and I'll take the over. I think the Jets pummeled.
I'm going to do the same thing, but I still like that under. I just don't think a lot of points are scored these days, and I don't know if a lot of points will be scored with a rookie quarterback in Bo Nix. So Steven has taken the over in these first two games. I'm taking the under in the first two. Moving on to an NFC South matchup. The Saints got their first loss a week ago to the Eagles. A lot of people thought that Derek reverted back to his normal days. Derek Carr throwing the pick at the end. I thought he still played a good game. It was just a good defensive performance by the Eagles. And the Falcons coming off that loss against the Chiefs. Falcons are 3-point favorites. Over under 40.5. Alvin Kamara, I believe, is questionable for this game.
Both in interesting situations here, huh? I mean, they're kind of in the same boat as in 2 weeks prior. I mean, obviously the Falcons and what they did with Kirk on Monday Night Football, and then what the Saints did that weekend. But then this last week kind of turned back into a pumpkin, both of them. So I wonder which one's going to be back into a carriage, a horse-drawn carriage.
Yeah, that analogy works.
Okay, whatever. Just give me the Saints. I think the Saints revert back to their older first couple of weeks in the season ways. Give me the Saints, and I will take the over.
All right, Steven likes the over in all these games. I like the Falcons to win. I think the Falcons played good defensively against the Chiefs. Just didn't do enough to win that game. So I got the Falcons winning this game. I'll lay the points, and I'll go under once again. I don't like these big old point totals. A lot of low scoring in the NFL this year. Then we got the very, very disappointing Jacksonville Jaguars struggling at 0-3. They go to Houston to face the favorites in that division, the Texans. Texans are 6-point favorites, and the over-under is 45.5.
Man, that number's such a big number, but the Jaguars have just disappointed at every turn. I'm going to lay the points with the Texans, and I'll take the over in this one as well.
All right. I'm going to take the Texans to win, but I'll have the Jags covered at 6. And I'll go under once again. I think defenses reign supreme this weekend. Then we got the Philadelphia Eagles going to Tampa Bay. I believe Devontae Smith is out in this game. I think A.J. Brown could be coming back, but we don't know about Lane Johnson. He suffered his 4th concussion in his career. Hey, did anybody tell him to retire this week? I don't think so. Interesting how that happens. All right, Eagles are 2-point favorites over the Buccaneers, over under 43.5.
To be honest, I mean, come on, 4 concussions after however long he's been playing. A little fewer in that time. So anyway, okay. Yeah,
I'm just saying, though, if fair is fair.
I'll take the Buccaneers to win. I like them winning here, and I will take the. You know what? I'll go under. I'll go against the grain, and I'll go under.
I'm staying with the under, but I got the Eagles winning this game. I think that
Ah.
A.J. Brown coming back will help out that offense. And Saquon Barkley's running the ball pretty well. So I got the Eagles winning. I'll lay the points, but I'll go under once again. Then we got an interesting spread. I don't know if this makes sense. The Los Angeles Rams go to Chicago, and the Chicago Bears are 3-point favorites. And the over-under is 40.5. What do you think?
Yeah, just give me, God, because they hit the. Give me the under. Give me the under in this, and I will. I don't have the Rams winning it. I just think the veteran's going to get the better of
Yeah.
the Bears here.
I would think so too. So I'm taking the Rams to win, but I'll go over. I'll go over in that 40.5. Alrighty, and then we got the undefeated Pittsburgh Steelers taking on the Indianapolis Colts. The Pittsburgh Steelers are 2.5-point favorites, and the over/under is the same as the Rams and Bears game, 40.5.
Yeah, lay the points with the Steelers. Give me the under.
Against my better judgment, you said under?
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm going under as well. I'm going to take the Colts to win, even though I think Anthony Richardson will probably turn over the ball a little bit against this Pittsburgh Steelers defense. I'll take the Colts to win. I like that.
All right.
Then we got the Minnesota Vikings, the undefeated Minnesota Vikings, going to Green Bay, where the Packers are 2.5-point favorites, and the over/under is 43.5. It sounds like Jordan Love could play in this game.
As he is, I'll lay the points with the Packers. Give me the over. I'll see it to be in a shootout.
I got the same thing. And by the way, I was talking to Jacob about this last weekend. You think they could run a little package where Malik Willis is on the field with Jordan Love at the same time?
Of course they.
That's what I said. And Jacob's like, that's a dumb idea. It's like, wait, no. It'd be perfect. You don't know if you could hand it off to him to run. He could take the snap and throw the football. I think it's genius. Screw you, Jacob. All right, and then we got the New England Patriots going to San Francisco. The Niners are 10-point favorites. Over/unders 40.5. Little caveat to this game. So the Patriots have had 10 days to prepare, but the Niners are 10-point favorites. You figure they will be focused off of the loss against the Rams. Here's the thing. First 3 weeks, the team that had the highest point spread going into the game, all three have lost. And that's the case for this week. I mean, not the case. I'm just saying the Niners are 10-point favorites. This is the biggest spread this weekend.
Yep, and I will have the Patriots covering that. I got the Niners winning, and I will take the under.
I got the under once again. I'm going under the whole week. Well, for the most part. I got the Niners rebounding pretty well. I got them laying the points. I got them winning. I got the under, though.
Ooh.
Sorry, did you say under or over?
I said under.
Under, okay. Then we got the Cleveland Browns going to Las Vegas to play the Raiders. Browns are 2.5-point favorites. The over/under is 36.5.
Oh, God.
Yeah. A lot of Raiders out. The Browns have offensive line issues. Who you got in this game, Steven?
Oh, God. Just give me the over, and I'll lay the points with the Browns.
I'm doing the same thing. Until the Raiders prove otherwise, I can't pick them. Then we got, this is going to be an interesting game. Excuse me while I sneeze.
Have you had allergies today, or in the past? Is this new?
No, I just got home from the grocery store and, yeah, sneezing all over the place.
Oh, Jesus.
May need to take my own test after this. The Arizona Cardinals taking on the Washington Commanders. Very interesting because Cliff Kingsbury's coming back to Arizona. And Jaden Daniels reminded me a little bit of Kyler Murray so far, kind of a mix between him and Lamar Jackson. The Cardinals are 3.5-point favorites, over/under 48.5.
Give me the over, and I'll you know what? I'll lay the points with the Cards, and I'll give favors with the home.
I'll do the same thing.
So yeah, lay the points with the Cards. Give me the over.
I'll do the same thing. Then we got the Chiefs taking on the Los Angeles Chargers. Don't know if Justin Herbert's going to go in this game. He had a high ankle sprain last week, kind of re-aggravated it, and now kind of seeing if it's him or Taylor Heineke. The Chiefs are 7.5-point favorites, over/under 39.5. Derwin James not playing. He's suspended for this game.
Lay the points with the Chiefs, and I will take the under.
I am going to take the over. I'm taking the Chiefs to win, but I that 7.5's a lot. I'm going to take the Chargers to cover that.
All right.
Then the Sunday night game, you got the Buffalo Bills undefeated, looking fantastic, going to Baltimore. Baltimore, despite the Bills being undefeated, are 2.5-point favorites, over under 46.5.
Yeah, it's a tough one, but I'm gonna go with the hot hand here. I'll take the Bills to win, and I'll actually take the I'll take the over. I'll take the over. It's a night
Alrighty.
game.
I think Josh Allen's always gotten the better of Lamar Jackson in these matchups, but for whatever reason, the Bills got to lose eventually. I'll take the Baltimore Ravens to win. I'll lay the points, but I'll go under on that 46.5.
All right.
And we got two Monday night games. The Tennessee Titans 0-3 right now. Will Levis struggling. Miami, though, having major quarterback issues. They're favored by 1, and their quarterback is going to be Snoop Huntley, Tyler Huntley.
Yeah.
And the over-under is 36.5.
I'll take the Titans and give me the under.
I'm going to go over, and against my better judgment, I just think that the Titans will not be prepared for Tyler Huntley for whatever reason. I'll go with the Dolphins to win this game. And then we got a good Monday night game. The Seattle Seahawks undefeated taking on the Detroit Lions. Lions are 3.5-point favorites, over under 45.5.
I think your prediction will be upheld with this matchup. I think they're going to stick at 3 wins after this one. The Seahawks, that is. I'll take the Lions, lay the points, and give me the over.
Wait, you taking the Seahawks to win?
No, I'm taking the Lions.
I'm taking the Lions. Gotcha. Wait, so Lions and laying the points with the Lions?
Yeah.
And over under? Who'd you take?
I'll take over.
Over, okay. Yeah, I was dead wrong about the Seahawks. Don't know what the hell I was thinking there. I got to Photoshop my head on Adam Rank's body when he picked the Niners in 2019 to win 3 games.
Yeah.
I'll take the Lions to win. They got some injuries, but I think they'll win this game. But I got the under. I'll take the Lions to win, lay the points, and I'll go under on that. So there you go. Those are our picks for Week 4 in the NFL. All right, Steven, anything else you got? You got any pop culture catch-up or a John Fisher of the week? I think John Fisher would be the John Fisher of the week this week.
Yeah, John Fisher of the week.
Yeah.
He
He gets his namesake. Any pop culture catch-up?
No catching up here to do. Last time I was on, I think I told you I watched the Beetlejuice.
No, you didn't. How was that?
Yeah, it was all right.
All right.
It was all right.
We're seeing it theaters, or can I wait till Max?
I think wait till it comes
all
out
right.
streaming. We want to get into the Penguin. Haven't seen that yet. Really want to. Heard from really good things about it. Last night, or was it yesterday? Yesterday, we watched, for whatever reason, Everest, and that made Jesse real sad.
Oh, okay.
You ever seen that?
No. Which one's that?
It's literally a movie about, this tragedy in 1996 where a group of climbers went up Mount Everest and let's just say didn't come down.
Is it a documentary or is it it's an actual movie?
Oh, it's an actual movie. Yeah,
okay.
But it's based on a true story.
Have not seen it or heard about it. Yeah, I want to check out The Penguin. Haven't watched that yet, but it looks interesting. Don't know if I could buy the whole mafia vibe with Batman, but there is that element to it. So maybe I've heard good things. What have I seen recently? I watched the first episode of the Aaron Hernandez show on FX.
Oh,
it's actually good, but excuse me. Oh, Jesus. I am a total mess on this podcast. We'll get out of here. Yeah, it's good. I just don't know if it's accurate. And the actors that are playing, like Bill Belichick and Urban Meyer, kind of interesting. It's kind of like the Doc Rivers show, the Clipper show clipped in that regard. But the actor playing Aaron Hernandez does a good job. I just don't know if the whole thing's entirely accurate, though.
You never know with those things, right?
Yeah.
You never know.
Yeah, I think FX does really good shows. I mean, I was really wrong about The Bear initially. That show is very well done. I'm in the third season now. I think it's got the feels of Ted Lasso, but also just being very real and realistic.
Yeah.
And some of the characters have won me over. Initially, I thought that most of them were annoying, and now I get their flaws and everything. Have you seen the Christmas episode with all of the stars and all the guest appearances?
Oh yeah.
It's like a movie. God, that was an incredible episode.
Yeah.
No,
Yeah.
the Bears really good. FX though is leaning a little bit too much into the. They had success with the OJ show, but they're doing a little bit too much of the let's do a show on something that happened in sports that's controversial. The Clip show, the Aaron Hernandez show. You got to get the sports right in order for the sports fans to dig it. I think they're doing a little bit too much on that stuff.
Right. Yeah. And they need to venture back into the idea of creating stuff that's original and not just like stuff that's based on a true story that happened, because FX had some amazing shows. Still does. And the Bears, one of them.
The Bears, highly acclaimed. I need to get into Shogun. People tell me it's great.
Yeah. I do too. I watched the first episode, then just haven't gone back. Don't know why.
Yeah, no, I've heard good things.
Too much goddamn TV out there, man.
There is too much goddamn TV. You gotta watch it a lot. All right, that's it for Pop Culture Catch Up, and that's it for us, guys. Steven, good to have you back. Congrats to you and Jesse. And yeah, we're going on your honeymoon in a couple weeks.
Yeah, October 9th.
October 9th. Going to Italy, right?
Yes, sir.
Beautiful. All right, guys. Thanks for joining us today. We'll be back on Tuesday to review what goes down in the NFL in Week 4. And also, really, real quick, shout out to all of the Giants fans that have been supportive during the A's final days in Oakland. Really cool to see kind of the Bay Area come together. You had Giants fans go to the game because there was no Giants game on Thursday. The people that called in after our show, not even A's fans, to just talk about how they support the team and how the rivalry in the Bay Area was always fun. So shout out to those people, and shout out to the Oakland A's fans, and shout out to Oakland sports. Long live Oakland sports. Shout out to all of you in the chat today. I need to go blow my nose. I'm a mess. Steven, say what you always say.
Oh, it is just our opinion. Meow.